evening, and happy Friday. Happy Friday. And for the listeners abroad, happy Saturday. This is the second edition of Drive While Live, and that is my journey home and a quick conversation. First of all, I would like to thank those who may pop in and those who may catch the replay. I do hope that you have had a very productive and peaceful day. This has been my first entire week that I have returned back to work since my 3 week ordeal. And I am happy to, at least for now, put that behind me. We have, at least in my neck of the woods, a big, beautiful, bright, full moon. Now, I'm not sure if we are about to experience the infamous Mercury retrograde. We shall see. And I'd be curious to know how many people actually pay attention to that. Now, there's an old adage, and many people may agree, many may not, or some may agree to disagree, that during this time, bizarre things happen. And there are others who may go as far as to not making any important life changing decisions during this time. That's something I've always been fascinated with. Chakras, just the universe in whole, and how things work, and messages or outside stimuli we may see. Let me cut this music down before I make a boo-boo. I'm driving, so I'm not really sure who is here, but those that do come in, please make sure, if you have not already, please hit the like button. And if you do not know at this time where you can find that, it's the three little dots that you should be able to see in the upper right hand corner. And if you are new or just scrolling through, like many people, go ahead and take a moment to subscribe if you like. But as I was speaking about, I'm always fascinated with the phenomena of the universe and the energy that you put out, sometimes the energy that you receive. Because I will say this again, because I'm very transparent and I try to be honest as much as possible. I am not a perfect being whatsoever. And there are times that I do get angry, and sometimes I harbor resentment. And yes, I am a work in progress, but certain things, and this is just me, and perhaps it's going to take a bit longer for me to get to that point. I'm going to speak up and out on certain things, especially if it is eating at my soul. I believe that everyone should be able to live their lives with some semblance of peace. And as I think about that, I often question if one, and I'm speaking about myself right now, but others may have thought or may think about this. If you allow things to lie dormant in your system and you just say nothing, and I'm not talking about petty, trivial things, but things that have really affected you. If you allow these things to just fester and sit, are you doing yourself a disservice by remaining quiet? Now, I have said many times in the past, some things are just not worth my time or energy to address, and therefore I don't. While, on the other hand, there are some that do require addressing. And in doing so, you have to exude a certain energy, question, or dilemma in which I find myself is what type of energy? I'm one who believes, and I am a staunch believer in this. And I've said this in many, many lives, many, many times. And again, all of these things are of my opinion. It is not written in stone. It's just my speaking my mind at this time. A short time with you. I believe that what you put out truly comes back. That could be good. Perhaps some things may not be so good. Hey there, is that you, twin? How are you? Good morning. You're not asleep. You're not asleep. You should be. I believe it's Saturday for you too. I know you are up all the time, working and singing. So next time you have your video singing, I'll be by. But as far as energy is concerned, I believe that there is indeed the possibility of a realm called the transference of energy. And I've said this months ago. When it comes to staying in certain places for too long. And what I mean by that is there are certain individuals, and this is just life, period. This is not specific to YouTube or any other social media platforms. Again, this is life, period. If you find yourself in a dark place for too long, I believe, again, it's just me, I believe It's a strong possibility that some of that darkness could be transferred to you. What's transferred to you could also be transferred to others that follow you and listen to you. I used this analogy once before to make it a bit clearer because sometimes I'm not sure if what it is that I speak is actually received the way it's intended. So I'll do my best to try to break it down like a fraction. And welcome to those that just came in. I'm driving, so I can't really see you right now. If you did just come in, welcome. If it's your first time, please, if you would be so kind, take a moment to hit that like button. And if you stick around for a bit, if you like the conversation, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if not, that's okay too. I'm just talking about random thoughts, but tonight's thought is energy. Now, what I was saying was, as far as negative energy and the transference of energy, I used an analogy at one time. And the analogy was about ants. You know, those little pesky insects that many people struggle with during the summer. Many enter your kitchen, your basements, and there are a lot of natural things that you can do to rid yourself of those without using harmful chemicals. Again, I implore you to always do your research with anything that I speak about, but they say that white vinegar or apple cider vinegar diluted with water and a little bit of dish detergent could do the trick as far as repelling those pesky little insects. Again, ants. Ants, there are so many different kind of ants. You have your carpenter ants, you have your little black ants, and you have sometimes the little red fire ants. All of them are pesky and nerve-wracking. But as far as it relates to the analogy, ants can take a crumb. Crumb, in this instance, is like negative energy. And if you keep going back to where you found the first crumb and you bring it back to the colony, that crumb that is enamored with that negative energy will then be spread to the entire colony. That's my analogy as it relates to the transference of negative energy. If you stay in a place that has that type of energy for too long, it is possible. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it is, in my opinion, very possible that you can bring that energy back taint others with it. So just be mindful and careful with spaces that you go. And as I mentioned earlier, this is not specific to YouTube or any social media platform. This could be at your place of work. You could have a group or a clique that exudes nothing but negative energy every day, every week, every month. You continue to listen to that and go to those areas, eventually there is a strong possibility that that will rub off on you, albeit temporary, perhaps longer, and you subsequently will be the vessel to others. And then you'll have an entire population of people with that same energy. Hey there, Joy. How are you? Happy Saturday, perhaps Sunday for you, Joy. Thank you so much for coming by. Talking about energy right now. And I always forget this movie. That's another good example. Oh gosh. Denzel Washington played in this movie. He starred in the movie. And every time he passed someone and they touched another person, something transferred from that person. And there was a song that played, "Time is on your side," or something to that effect. And that's how I think about energy and what we put in the universe. There's so many teachings and readings as it relates to the law of attraction. Again, there are people that believe to that and they foster a lifestyle. Sorry about that. Making sure that I'm going the right direction. Foster that lifestyle as far as the law of attraction. And others, again, may feel totally different. In my 55 years, and I will say within the last 20 to 25, I've absolutely observed this type of behavior. Again, in school, especially school, and in the workplace. I feel that many people, even some, and you can agree to disagree, it is okay, but I believe that there are many people that don't really know or have not truly accepted or claimed their true identity. Perhaps they may feel because of what society may say is popular or what society may say is successful. They may morph into something or someone else. That can be very dangerous because you have to keep that facade or charade up. And when you encounter people who are extremely intuitive, it isn't difficult for those individuals to realize this person or people are disingenuous. And that is a label I try to stay away from. Is it always successful? No. That is why it is important, in my opinion, to follow patterns, behavior, words that are spoken. Many times, just those small things can truly define character. A lot of people like to speak about moral compass. But what truly is moral compass? Is it just a popular colloquialism people like to use? Or do people actually measure your character and use the moral compass gauge? There are a lot of people that I follow and have followed for many, many months, some years. And in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, that moral, to be fair, as we grow, as we mature, as our situations change, sometimes life that may change as well. So we have to be careful with that because I don't want to be received as judgmental because I am not. I just pay close attention to many things. Sometimes I feel as though people will, for the sake of a debate or a conversation, say what's popular to appease the masses. To me, that could be dangerous, and that if you truly do not believe in what you speak, however, you present your beliefs, and I'm using air quotes again to appease the masses because it's the popular thing or the politically correct thing to say. To me, again, this is just my opinion, you're only doing a disservice not only to just yourselves, but to those that follow you and those that believe in you. And that continues the cycle that I spoke about earlier as far as energy. Personally, and this is just me, I would not want to be a public figure. Number one, for many, not all, but for many, your life is never your own. You're always going to be under public scrutiny. I don't care whether you're a philanthropist, whether you are in politics, you could be in the upper echelon of every career path one could think of. You will always be under a microscope. And no matter how much good you have done, no matter how much good that's been documented, the moment you make a mistake, as many people do, and we've seen this many, 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 many times, the moment you make a mistake, it's plastered all over the media. And every good deed, the millions you may have placed into charities or helped out families in distress or to causes such as natural disasters. Many of those things may be tossed out. And the one negative thing that may have been caught on camera or film by paparazzi or a random onlooker could wipe away all the good that you do or have done. And your legacy, even though you could be inducted into a Hall of Fame, is quite often smeared or stained by that one negative thing. I Yes, it would be nice to live comfortably and not worry about bills and bills and bills every month, but having to look over your shoulder or wonder who's going to backstab or extort or cause so much irreparable harm. I would take my regular lifestyle that I have now and be at peace with it. And if many of us truly pay attention to what's going on with a lot of the celebrities, many politicians, many lawmakers, the media outlets are filled to capacity with stories of corruption, abuse, rumors of illicit behavior. From many people, many of us have placed on podiums. And held high. It's unfortunate. And again, we've got to think about the energy. What type of energy? Many people believe in spells. Now, I'm not really sure if I believe wholeheartedly in that, but I remember reading and listening to a couple of videos when I was not doing well. And there's this artist, he's a gospel artist now, but he gave a testimony where he opened for a very prominent entertainer. I'll just say that. But he stated that he heard the voice of his creator, and his creator said to him, "Come here, I want to show you something." So the gentleman who gave his testimony went and watched the stage as the other performer was there. And he stated that, and this was when he was doing secular music, he basically spoke on some of the lyrics that this person on stage started to spew. And then he looked out over to the audience, and he said that he literally saw some of the people in the audience change. And then, unfortunately, as some venues this may occur, violence erupted. And he said it was at that time he decided to get away from secular music because of what he was shown by his creator, showing him again, these beliefs aren't being pushed to anyone. I'm just speaking about things that I've listened to and things that I've observed. Some of the things I've actually done and said, because again, I'm not a perfect being, but I do wholeheartedly believe, at least for me personally, despite all of my challenges, I've had favor as well. Favor, and I've said this before, in my beliefs does not always mean financial. It could be healing, or if it's not total healing, and keep in mind, some things may not be 100%. But if you are placed in a better place than before, in other words, if you come out better than what you were when you went in, that's a blessing in itself. And something that you should really sit down, in my opinion, and give thanks. There are many people that suffer greatly. And when I say suffer, I mean truly suffer. I see people daily in the sweltering heat with little signs And I must be honest, I I do not know how some of them can do it every day. I saw a young lady, I've seen her now almost every day this week on the side of the highway. And when I went into the convenience store, I believe on Wednesday, I just ran in to get some water because I was really feeling dehydrated. She was on the outside, and she had, I believe, her life's belongings with her. Same pink shirt, because I remembered her earlier during the week, and I felt so bad because, as I said, since being down sick for 3 weeks, I didn't have much, but when I came out, I gave what I could, at least so she could have something to nibble on, and I believe other people gave as well. But when we talk about human suffering, I don't think many people truly grasp what that looks like. Sure, you may see images on TV, but to actually see it up close and see the helplessness in the eyes of these people up close puts a real perspective on life. And I've said this before, and it is not, again, always about changes in health, even though my story talked about my ordeal. This is about suffering that many people may not see, suffering that many people may not experience or have ever experienced. I'm talking about suffering where people, ignorant people, may jump to conclusions and write it off as, well, you weren't properly prepared, or you must have made a mistake to get yourself in this situation. And the truth of the matter is, in life, anything, anything can happen. You could have what, through your optics, may appear at that time to be substantial savings. But if someone does fall ill or is a victim of a tragic accident, either at work or at the hands of a careless individual, and you happen to be a family member or a spouse to that individual, you may end up having to take every last penny of your savings to help assist. And in doing so, you could find yourself out on the street in sweltering heat. There's so many different scenarios I could bring to the table, but I'm not, because it's I was about to say late, but it's really early. And as I said, I just wanted to jump on real quick and just converse with those that pop in and those that may catch the replay. and really hit home about life. Many places this weekend is calling for extreme heat, and I believe in many places. And if you have not, please make sure that you Google, depending upon your jurisdiction, cooling centers if you need them. Because unfortunately, even though technology is a wonderful thing, things happen. Electricity could fail. And even if it's just 4 hours, that could destroy food you have in your refrigerator for either you and your family or just you, which could put you back because things are extremely expensive, as we know. So make sure that you always Google for cooling centers if you need them. It's always good to prepare for the unexpected. And as I said, many areas are now calling for extreme temperatures. Then you have animals and pets. Strays, they suffer too. You have people, unfortunately, who will leave pets. They will leave small children in the car with the windows slightly cracked while they run into a convenience store with no air on. It only takes a very short time for something very tragic to happen. And as many public service announcements come on, encouraging people never to do that, you still have people who will just run in real quickly. And sometimes what they think may be a quick run in or run out may not be so quick. The lines may be longer than what they initially expected. Something could go wrong with the cash register. Anything could happen to delay them. And then you have a child or animal in a sweltering, hot vehicle, and you put them in a possible dangerous situation. You have people on their ATVs. And yes, young people are out of school and they should have fun. But certain vehicles should not be on the highway. And they certainly shouldn't be doing wheelies. How many times have we seen and read and heard about young people losing their lives due to these tragic accidents? And while they're only out just having fun, they're not considering the danger they're putting themselves or others in because they just want to have a little fun. And yes, I do believe at a certain age, you definitely know the difference between right and wrong. But that adrenaline rush and that feeling of being invincible or nothing's going to happen to me takes over until another tragic story is on the news. A coworker of mine shared with me earlier this week, and this is why I say, despite what I went through, there's always somebody that's going through something worse. That her son was shot, and while he survived, two others did not. I didn't know what to say. I just did not know what to say. She's a single mother trying to raise three children. One, she's trying to get into rehab and trying to move into a quote unquote better location. My heart breaks for her. She too has encountered many, many storms this year. So when I say you're not alone in life, you're not. You may not know what your neighbor, what your coworker, what your YouTube content creator may be going through, but trust and believe there are people out there truly, truly weathering some very nasty storms. Try, and as I've said before, it's not easy, but do try to keep the perspective of life and society's ills in the forefront. Because as I've said so many times, you never truly know when you may encounter or someone close to you may encounter a life-changing event where it will affect you either directly or indirectly, which will change your life upside down. Always cherish each moment. Try to find beauty and peace in something every day. And I'm definitely not saying that's an easy task, but you have to at least make an effort and try to foster that ideal every day. Sometimes when we think about others or we put our focus on other things, our own situations may not seem as bad. And you may find more strength and encouragement to change up your arsenal when you're fighting through. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we find that, okay, these boxing gloves aren't working the way they used to. You change up to something else. So with that, I am going to end this live as I drive because I'm no longer driving. Thank you for those that tuned in and to any that may catch the replay. Be safe, everyone. Be well, everyone. And you know the rest. Please be healthier. Until my next video, which I plan to be live with a guest on their platform tomorrow. Once everything is solidified, I will put that on my community wall if anyone is interested in listening to that live stream. Everyone have a spectacular, peaceful night or morning. And blessings.